In this video, I'm going to share the one word married couples need to know that could potentially save their families millions in estate taxes. As an estate planning lawyer myself, and with my team, we've helped thousands of families protect their loved ones and assets. I realize that many families end up paying more in estate taxes than they need to, just because they are unaware of this. Let's start with some basics. The federal estate tax applies when someone passes away, and it's hefty. 40%. Now, this might sound like a lot, and it doesn't apply to most people, but hear me out. As of 2024, the estate tax exemption amount is $13.61 million. This means that if someone dies this year, $13.61 million of their estate is not subject to the tax. This amount is adjusted for inflation every year, so in 2023, it was at $12.92 million. But here's the key point. In 2026, unless the law changes, the estate tax exemption will drop back down to $5 million. Adjusted for inflation, that will likely be around $6.8 million by then. So if someone passes away in 2026, only the first $6.8 million of their estate will be exempt from estate taxes. And everything above that will be hit with the 40% estate tax. Now let me explain the one word you need to know: portability. What is portability? In simple terms, portability is the rule that allows a surviving spouse to use the unused portion of their deceased spouse estate tax exemption. This means if your spouse passes away and their estate is smaller than the exemption amount, for example, $6 million out of the $13.61 million in 2024, you can port or carry over their unused exemption and add it to your own. This can significantly reduce or even eliminate estate taxes when you pass away. How does this work in real life? Let's say we have a couple, John and Linda. John passes away in 2024 and his estate is worth $6 million. Together, John and Linda had a combined estate of $12 million split evenly. After John's passing, Linda goes to see their lawyer Mark to settle the estate. Mark tells Linda that because John's estate is below 13.61, there is no need to file an estate tax return and no tax is owed. Linda is relieved and now has the full $12 million, which includes both her share and John's. Fast forward to 2026 and Linda passes away. By then, her estate has grown to $17.8 million. Linda's children go back to Mark and he explains that the estate tax exemption has dropped to around $6.8 million in 2026. As a result, $11 million of Linda's estate is subject to 40% tax, which means the family now owes $4.4 million to the IRS. But here's where portability comes in handy. In a different scenario, when John passed away in 2024, Linda knew about portability and mentions it to Mark. Mark then files an estate tax return for John's estate and elects portability. This allows Linda to inherit John's unused $6.92 million exemption. Now Linda can combine her exemption with John's, giving her a total exemption of $13.72 million. Under this alternative scenario, when Linda passes away in 2026 with an estate worth $17.8 million, now only $4 million is subject to the 40% tax. Instead of owing $4.4 million to the IRS, the family now only owes $1.6 million, a huge savings thanks to portability. By knowing about portability and making the right moves when John passed, Linda's family saved about $2.8 million in taxes. This is why it's so important to understand portability. It can make a massive difference for your family's financial future. When it comes to estate tax minimization, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Many of my clients find value in also setting up a trust or a combination of trusts. That's why your next step is to watch my video on what is a living trust and what are the benefits. I'll link that here.